All right, here we go. We are live. Let me know if you can see me in the comments. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you hear me the right way. I haven't done this in quite some time. So it has been a while since I have live stream here in the Jarhead 6 channel. I'm actually kind of excited about this. I guess I want to check my volume and all that. I definitely don't like that power by StreamYard on my one of my sites right here. I think it's right here. But anyways, again, first time live streaming through this. So let me know if you can hear me in the comment section below and let me know how you can see me. I'm looking at myself right now just to make sure that I'm doing fine. Again, first time using this in the Jarhead 6 channel and it looks fine to me. So I wanted to talk about this. If you're in the comments, definitely share some comments. Let me know what you think. Put comments in the comment section below. Don't be a stranger. I know some of you guys some of you guys don't put too many comments, but go ahead and put some comments. I always appreciate or I always enjoy seeing some of you guys in the comment section below. I'm going to be looking a little bit down. I'm going to be all over the place because I'm learning how to use this system and I'm not a professional by any means, but I try. So big shout out to I2 Mass. Good to see you here, sir. Big shout out to Gregory. Look at this. This is fancy. You could put comments in here. Wow, this is really fancy. If you've been with me for quite some time, years by now, you guys know we used to live stream a lot and none of this fancy stuff was out there. So big shout out to you, sir. Appreciate it. Big shout out to Pastor Charles is in the house as well. Big shout out to him. Appreciate his support and he just posted a video that it was fantastic. Gregory, you gotta watch. You gotta watch that video. It was so amazing about four chaplains and what they did. I thought it was a fantastic video, and it makes me appreciate obviously our troops so much. Hopefully the audio's coming out right. I had to digging and get some of my equipment out from everywhere to to try to set up this stream. I actually had to buy some cables and stuff because I haven't streamed for so long that I couldn't find none of the stuff that I was looking for. Big shout out to Luis. Good to have you here, sir. Uh, who else is out there in the comments? T1 Jervelet. Probably messed up your name. Big shout out to you too, sir. All right, so before I get into this, there's a couple things that I want to kind of like address, and then I kind of gonna do like a Q&A. If anybody's watching out there and got some questions, definitely ask. I wanted to talk about this whole thing about the police because it's getting out of control, and I feel that it's important. If you like the police or you don't like the police, they still do a fantastic job, and they still take bad peoples out of our communities, and that's good. A lot of people have their own impression about police officer. I got family that is police, work as a police officer, and obviously I work as a military police officer. And a lot of times we think of guys, cops that just write tickets, and the reality is that some of them just write tickets, no doubt about that. But the majority of them, there's a large majority that are out there preventing crime, and they're out there putting their life at risk. And in fact, I remember working many times, and I know from talking to many guys that sometimes they just stay so busy. You wouldn't believe the amount of nonsense that they have to respond to and deal with. So before I get into that, if you want to support the channel, obviously you could become a patron. One of the best ways to support the channel. There's also Amazon links down there. If you're gonna buy anything you're gonna buy, click on my Amazon link, and then it doesn't cost you any money, but I'll make money out of that, and obviously that helps the channel. And I've never done the Amazon affiliate market that much. I've been doing it lately, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'll be making a couple $100 in that thing, and that's awesome because once again, I use that money to to put into the channel and to continue here this project that I'm working in, right? And that's about it. Obviously, if liking the video, sharing the videos, and things like that, to me is fantastic, and I definitely appreciate it big time. So let's see. Let me get some of the comments in here. Pastor Charles says colors look really good on the red stripes in the flag. Yeah, love that flag. Stacy got it for me. I don't remember from when. Maybe Father's Day or birthday or something. Something. So all right, so let's talk about this. And like I said, I just want to give you a couple comments in here. Let me bring this up, and I'm going to tell you, Cubs are under attack. They really are under attack. And wow, this is fancy. We could switch the cameras. We're getting fancy over here. But Cubs are under attack so bad nowadays, and it's actually pretty sad what's going on right now. Really pretty sad because it's my opinion that they do a fantastic job for the most part. And the reality is that they're not being appreciated, and the reality is that they're being attacked. And some of these guys are going to jail for, things that are, that again, that they're not being fairly treated. And a lot of guys, when you say things like this, a lot of guys get into the whole, well, there's police brutality, there may not be police brutality, or in this case, there was police brutality. And we get into a whole conversation, but because one guy commits, some type of police brutality, or because one guy have done something that you may not concur with, that doesn't mean that we could generally speaking or generalize everyone. And that's kind of like the sad thing, right? When we have an issue with a person that is doing something wrong, we need to address that issue with that person, right? Just going into crazy. And I say going into crazy because at this point, it feels to me that our people are, these people are just politicians are being crazy because they're getting into a point that they don't say, all right, we got a police officer that maybe made a mistake. We saw what happened with George Floyd, and the guy sat on top of that person's, put his neck or his knee behind his neck for like 8 minutes or 7+ minutes. Instead of dealing with that individual, we go into a stream, instead of changing the policy, instead of, charging that guy, or instead of, conducting an investigation on this guy, we're going into the stream. We're going into the stream where they are defunding the entire police department. And it's insane because at the same time that they are defunding the police department, guess what they're doing? They're having private security. To me, it's just insane what you are seeing out there. Not only they are taking the police for citizens, but they are paying for their own private security. People that are potentially, prior military, prior police officer, guys that are working for security firms that are protecting these politicians while they're taking away your cops, while they're taking away your law enforcement. I mean, you start thinking about this and you start having a conversation, and it doesn't even make sense. It puts you to a level that you must be joking. You must be playing with me. You are telling me that you are voting, to remove police officers that are out there taking away, stopping crime from happening, mitigating the crimes, doing presence patrol, identifying dirtbags that are committing crime. But at the same time, you're such a hypocrite that you have your own private security. And in fact, the news was reporting something about $4,300 a month, or $4,003 a day, excuse me, for these politicians to be protected. It kind of remind me I want to say a couple years ago, there was an active shooter that happened in Capitol Hill, and the cops responded real quick, and the cops were able to stop this crazy guy from, hurting politicians. And everything was like, well, great. And thinking to myself, well, when you have your own police force right there, obviously, you're going to be safer. Obviously, something happened, they're going to be there to assist you very quickly. We don't have that privilege. We don't have that. Like I say in my video that I made, we must be like whatever. We must be like, they don't care about us. I mean, we're paying taxes, but they don't care about us because obviously they're defunding the police, but they have their own security guards, right? And they're paying money to the security guard that are money that are being collected by the city. To me, that's insane. I'm going to tell you, to me, that is insane. And I'm getting to a point that, before I show you some of those things, I was watching, I think it was Fox News, and I was watching, yeah, Tucker. And he was talking about how, we're paying taxes and we're paying all this money and we're supposed to get something in return. And it makes total sense to me. Like, I pay a lot of taxes. I don't make crazy amount of money, but I would say that I make, you know, decent amount of money, I guess. I don't I'm not dying, but I'm not rich neither, right? I guess I'm in the middle class. Maybe that's what it's called. I don't know what it's called. But I'm paying a lot of taxes every paycheck. I mean, they're taking a good amount of money, enough. They're taking enough. And, I got a property that I own, obviously, I own this house, or at least I make payments to a bank for this house. And again, we paying crazy amount of money in property taxes and all this. So we're paying all this money. We are supposed to get this, I guess, in some kind of way, some type of service, but you're taking away the cops. So in a way, it was kind of like, well, are you taking my money? Are you taking my money? Because I'm giving you all this money. We're paying all these taxes, and what are we doing with the taxes? We are removing police officers. To me, it makes no sense. And by the time that they start removing these police officers, guess what happened, guys? It's a lot of reports. People been talking about this. Property value is going down because no one wants to live in a house that it doesn't, or in a neighborhood that is not protected by police officers, right? Nobody wants to do that. So not only you taking my taxes to make the stupid rules, you also removing cops, you also paying for your private security, but you also depreciating my property value. I mean, to me, that is insane, literally insane, right? So again, we are living into a moment where what is right, it is not right no more. We're living into a moment, or we're living into a season in our life where confusion is taking over. I'm going to tell you this right now. God is not a God of confusion. You will not be confused when it comes from God. Confusion comes from the devil. And we're living into a season in our country where confusion is taking over, where fear is taking over, where people are getting it's insane what we're seeing. I told a friend of mine today that we're watching the president of the United States. We're watching our higher leadership talking about kids needs to go to school. The whole putting a mask on, right? I want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But putting the mask on, you got to put a mask on. Which, by the way, I'm going to say this. I said it many times. I lost I lost a bunch of subscribers over this. I do not disagree with the mask. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask, right? And maybe I get it. Well, I say it right now. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. I mean, obviously, don't be, don't be smart about things, right? If you have a condition, if you have issues, if you're an older person, obviously wear a mask. My issue was always the mandatory part where the government is telling us that we need to do this. And by the way, my city just passed the law or ordinance saying that now we have to wear a mask. So just today we went to the gym, and apparently the gym is not enforcing that. And the city next to me is still not enforcing that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do groceries in the city over. I'm just going to drive my truck over there with my family and do groceries there, right? But if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. My concern about the whole mask situation is that we have individuals talking about the mask and how people are being neglected, how people are not wearing a mask, but then you see them in the Mexican restaurant. Literally, I went to the Mexican restaurant and there's guys eating, and then they're eating, and then they're putting the mask on. And I'm like, sir, if you are so concerned about the mask and how not to get contaminated or not contaminating other, is that is a priority to you and you're concerned about these things, what are you doing in the Mexican restaurant, bro? Like, what are you doing here? Be home. If you are concerned about not spreading a disease, if you are concerned about not getting contaminated, what are you doing in Ross looking at shopping for clothes? I mean, it seems to me a little bit hypocritical, right? If you're very, very concerned, you should be home. Be home. So, anyways, I apologize. It's not that I'm ignoring comments, but I just wanted to say a couple things before I get into some of the questions right here. I like Coke Zero. horrific, horrific. This is horrific for you. I know some of you guys would tell me in the comments, but you know what? I stopped drinking many, many years ago. I stopped smoking many, many years ago. Bless the good Lord, bless the good Lord, and I need to give up this. It's not good. But again, people are concerned about these things. But again, like I'm saying, I see them in the store. I mean, I don't know how good it is to be eating Mexican food with a mask on. To me, it makes no sense to be eating Mexican food with a mask on. And keep in mind, there's already policies and there's already requirement that some of those places are following already. So check this out. Let's come here real quick and boom. This is how it goes. All right here. So police officers, they taking this very, very serious, like to a point that it is becoming really, really bad because right now we see all these cops that are getting into trouble. They are getting into trouble for doing their job. And a lot of times you see people saying, oh, a cop is. Here's the thing. A lot of times you see people saying, "Well, a cop is telling this guy specifically in the George Floyd situation. He wasn't resisting. He was resisting. He was passive resisting. If a cop tell you, hey, you're being identified as a person that just committed a crime, and I need you to leave this place. I need you to stay here, and you stay there, standing up. You may not be fighting. Obviously, you're not actively resisting. Obviously, you're not fighting yet, but you are resisting. I want to clear that up because a lot of times people say, oh, no, no, not resisting. If you don't move when a cop tells you, hey, I need you to walk over here because you're just being identified as a person that committed a crime, you are resisting. And another issue that we are very, very confused, is in the racial profile. So people get again really confused about this. If you respond to a call and you're responding to a call and you make contact with an individual based on a description or based on the fact that I told you that's the guy, and you make contact with that guy, there's nothing racially profile about that, right? So I give you an example. If somebody attacks you and punches you in the face, and you say, hey, the guy's name is Fabian, he's Hispanic, and he spoke with an accent, and it's that guy right there. And the cops come and talk to me, nothing racially profile about that. Really nothing. I met the description of a suspect. The same thing happened in the George situation. Sai, I know people don't want to hear this. I know people get mad about this, but it was nothing racial about that. I mean, could it have been police brutality? Obviously, that's a different conversation, but nothing racial. Now, I'm going to go back to my advice or to my example. Now, if somebody commits a crime, somebody punches somebody in the face, and the cops respond and they stop me based on the color of my skin, or they stop minorities based on the color of the skin, and they totally bypass a different race, whatever race that is racial profile. So people get confused about this all the time. Oh, the guy has been targeted because he's Hispanic, or the guy has been targeted because he's black. Well, is he being targeted based on no discretion? Because if a discretion is given and he missed that discretion, the cops are now being racially profiled. I don't understand why people get confused about that. The same thing happened in the Marine Corps. I always used to laugh a little bit because when I responded to calls, it was actually kind of interesting. It was things like, "Hey, I need you to respond to this address. Be in the lookout for a white male, 6'1", wearing camis, and a high and tie or high regulations haircut." And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's entire the military. Marines, 70% of Marines are white. So you talking about a guy that is 6 feet, or tall guy, muscular and good shape, wearing cami, he's white. Well, I mean, I always used to laugh about that. You got to give me something more than that, or the same, whatever it is. You got to be really detailed sometimes, because a lot of people met that criteria or met that requirement. Sometimes we get confused. Sometimes people say, well, the cop is targeting that guy. No. If the cop is responding based on a description that was given not to him I mean, he didn't make up that description. It was based on the fact that he was told That's not racially profile. Or once again, if a cop stops a car based solely on the fact that he sees Hispanics or he sees black or something like that, it's racially profile, obviously. But if he stop a car because the car is going, 25 miles over the speed limit, no, he stops it over that. And here's the last thing I'm going to go into this racially profile thing. I don't like talking about this one too much, but it goes both ways. It may go where a white cop is stopping minority, but also a black cop can be stopping white people. So it goes both ways. It doesn't just go one way. That is a highly an issue that I see all the time. All the time. TG T1, I'm gonna call it T1. T1 says, I hate wearing masks, can't breathe that good. Dude, I went to the bank and I was wearing one. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it was annoying. I had to wear this thing for like an hour that I was in the bank. By 30 minutes into it, I was like, this thing is so annoying. And I actually made a joke with the lady that was, doing my paperwork or whatever. And she was like, yeah, tell me about it, kind of thing. I've been wearing this uh for whatever. So, Gary's in the house. Big shout out to Gary. Long time, brother. Hope you're doing good. I haven't been live streaming in a really long time. I want to get back into it because I feel that there's a lot of things that we could talk about. Check out Gary. He's an awesome dude, man. Man, I'm so glad to see you, bro. Let's see. Winslow, good job, brother. Hey, man, I appreciate you watching. Liberty, not licensed. I appreciate you watching as well. And let's see what Keith says. My governor just put out today that starting tomorrow, everyone in public must wear a mask, and he will review the order in 30 days. Yeah, man, it's all over the place. Literally, all over the place. I just hate it, and people are living in fear. People are living in fear. I really need to talk about this about the cops. But again, people are living in fear. It's crazy. I'm not saying that obviously, the Lord, and obviously, things that we got to do. Obviously, we got to be smart about things. We got to be in prayer and things like that. But like I say in many videos, I refuse to live in fear. I refuse to live in fear. Fear does not come from the Lord. Fear comes from the devil. He says, I give you the spirit of love, power, and a sound mind, not fear. And that's what I'm saying. That's what the media is creating. That's what the media is creating. It's creating fear in the American people. And it's sad to see that because the American people is buying it. Many people are buying it because they are standing into or they're watching this craziness, right? And I don't know if I mentioned this. I was going to mention this or not, but when you see the president of the United States saying we need to reopen reopen our economy, we need our children to go back to school, and then you see things such as like local governor, like I was telling this to a person that I love, I'll say I don't even get it. The president is saying, let's send our children to school. And the local officials are saying, oh, well, we don't know if we could go to school. There is a total miscommunication. There's two people, one side here, one side here. And then we find ourselves in the middle trying to make the best decision for our family, right? We're trying to make the decision for our family in order to protect our family. And to me, it's very disappointing to see these people, these politicians fighting because we're the one that are paying because they're rich. They don't have issues. They don't have to pay mortgages. All these people have millions of dollars. You out there, you have to pay your mortgage. You have to pay your rent. You have to go to work. This thing is affecting us. But these politicians are spreading lies and spreading misinformation, and they're rich. They don't care about paying the mortgage. So it's insane, literally insane. But again, let me just bring this up real quick. Boom. Man, this StreamYard is fancy. But like I said, look at this. Police. Police are getting so fed up with this. So fed up with this that they're calling out. Literate calling out. Los Angeles Times report 300 LAPD officers call out sick over July 4th. That's insane. 300 officers. And you know what? I get it. I really get it. And I really understand it in a way, right? Because they're getting tired of this stuff. They're truly getting tired of it. And, they're getting into a point where they're like, all right, whatever. You don't want us here. We call out. You're taking away our money. You're taking away our our resources. So we're calling out, and I'm getting to a point that I hate to say this because this could potentially, or not potentially, this will get people literally killed. This, if cops don't show up, people will get killed. I remember seeing in the news. I remember seeing in the news. I think it was in Georgia, and they say that when we had all those police officers walking out, they just walked out, and there were so many hundreds and hundreds of calls pending. And you know what? No one was there to respond. So people will die. People will die. But it's getting into a point when some of those cops are gonna have to say, you know what? It is what it is. I'm gonna take time off. I'm gonna go home because literally I could respond into a place and they're gonna try to charge me. You saw what happened in Georgia. I mean, we have a dude that was drunk, pass out in a Wendy's parking lot. Then you have police officers responding there. The guy is drunk. They have to wake him up. They do a whole, FST, field sobriety test. They decide that the guy is intoxicated. They go to arrest him. The guy gets into a fight with the cops, punches a cop in the face, take his taser. I mean, it's insane. Cops shot him and kill him. This dude was this dude was essentially, he was a person that was in jail, that came out of jail based on the fact that COVID-19 is here, and the jail couldn't even hold him. Right? Jail was like, all right, we're going to let you go because of COVID-19. He was in jail for child neglection, something related to child abuse. I mean, when you go to jail for abusing kids, I mean, you ain't no stellar. You ain't no good member of society. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm a believer that if you go to jail and you come back and you pay your debt to society. Even guns and stuff like that. Depends on the crime. You should get your rights back and all that stuff. I never disagree with some of the stuff. Some of the crimes out there are stupid. You may get in trouble when you're a young kid, and now as a young kid, you want to, again, you were young and now you want to go back into society because you grow up and you're a big boy. But when you're abusing kids, I mean, I told a friend of mine, I think it was today, I said, I'm going to tell you what, our mind locks big time compared to our good Lord. Because yes, our good Lord has a plan for everyone to protect, to prosper. Our good Lord, if you ask for forgiveness, you will be forgiven, and He will change your life. But sometimes for us as men, as human beings, it's hard to understand in that supernatural way. Because yes, a person that abused kids, sometimes it's hard for us as human to understand that. That's why faith is so important. You have to believe that He wants the best. Because yeah, it is difficult when you see a guy that abused some kids and you're like, wow, really, this dirtbag. Again, I'm not gonna get so much into that. But here's the thing that I want to mention. These cops are essentially are saying I had enough, and they're gonna stop. Really, they're gonna stop. You see this one right here. Let me go back to this screen right here. New York Police, New York Police Department limits numbers of officers who could file for retirement after a search or retirement. So, you know what? Cops are trying to retire. And I don't blame them because these cops are probably saying, I don't want to lose my retirement. I really don't. I don't want to lose my retirement. I don't want to go to jail because some dirtbag was doing something stupid, and I responded there and I tried to, protect our community. And now I got to go to jail because, a confrontation that I had with this guy. So cops are retiring. Cops are retiring. They don't even want to be part of that. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen is going to be simple. People are going to die because if police officers don't respond, there's going to be issues. And then the crazy thing about this is that politicians are concurring with this nonsense. Politicians are saying, "Yeah, yeah, we don't need cops." You see the girl from New York, the AOC girl. She wants to like defund the police like crazy. We were talking about, I think it was like $1 billion or something, millions and millions and millions of dollars that they took away from the police. It's taking away from the training. It's taking away from the supplies. It's taking away from probably the range time. Usually it takes away from the training, and cops needs to train. So it's stopping them from having the ability to be able to respond and be a better police officer. But they don't care. They want you to continue, continue defunding the police. They're depreciating our property, our communities, and things like that. And not only that, they want you to give away your guns. I mean, who are these people helping? No cops, give away your guns. I mean, I don't even get it. It's crazy, unbelievable when you hear things like that. Crazy, unbelievable. Let's see. Let me go show you one more thing that I want to show you right here before we continue. All right, string. All right, I wanted to show you this because this is obviously from CNN. But look at all the states that are doing this mess. I mean, it's insane. And again, you can look it up in CNN. Obviously, it's CNN. So, but at least to give you a little bit of information here. California, June 18, Connecticut, Delaware. I mean, you name it. It kind of gave you a breakdown of this mess. And I'm going to tell you, I wanted to give you a couple points about this. Really, a couple points about this because I just recently went to the doctor. And again, there's a ton of states right here, right? Like Michigan. Michigan requires all residents to wear full covering or mask in public settings. And the crazy about this is that, or the crazy thing, a face. There we go. The crazy thing about this is that in some of the states they're literally telling you you have to wear a mask. If not, or else. And I know here in my city that passed that, like I say, a couple different cities around me that they have not passed that. There is no penalty if you're not wearing a mask. Obviously, if you go into a business and the business tells you that, you know what, hey, you have to wear a mask. Obviously, if you're not wearing one, they will tell you to leave. And if you don't leave, obviously, they will tell you, hey, you know what, we're going to call the cops, and the cops can what is it, trespass, or I forgot what it's called, but the cops can take action. So that's out there. But literally, for not wearing a mask, you're not going to get in trouble. And the thing about it is that, again, there's some states that I have heard. I don't know how true this is, but there's some punishment out there. So literally, we're getting into a point where we're telling people either you wear this or else. We could take you to jail, or we could give you a ticket, whatever. I seen of, again, I'm not confirming anything. I haven't seen it in writing, but I have heard people. If you have seen it, definitely put it down in the comment section below. But I seen people making comments like that, like, you know what, if you all right, let me know if you can see me down in the comment section, because I kind of lost connection. Let me see. No. No. All right, put a comment over here if you see me in the comment section, because I lost everything. Everything got lost. But if you could see me, put a comment right here. Let me know. But okay, I'm good. Keith says I'm good. Thank you, sir. Gary can see me. Big shout out to AOG. Hope you're doing good, my brother. Everybody that is watching out there, big shout out to you guys out there. Computer went down. You guys know I got hacked. I got hacked. I don't know if you heard about this, Gary, but I got hacked. They put all my videos on private. They took away my banner. They changed my channel name. It took me hours upon hours to reestablish the channel. By this point, I'm starting to feel like a fancy, like celebrity or something, because I've been given strikes. I've been hacked. I mean, I don't even know. I haven't been erased, I guess, but I've been pretty close to it. I mean, there's always something going on here in the channel. Obviously, my content is not the type of content that YouTube wants to see. But again, I kind of lost my chain of thoughts that I was talking about. But on the mass situation that I was talking about, is that people getting out of control with this mass. And essentially, we have the government telling you, hey, either we give you, if you don't wear, or there's going to be some punishment. And I always hear things such as, you know what? Here's the thing about it. I hear things like, well, it's for the good of the people. And I keep hearing that statement a lot. It's for the good of the people. And if you're a gun guy, you know this. How many times have we heard that? For the good of the people. Give away your guns, because you don't need an AR-15. We need to protect our children, right? If you don't give away your gun, you're not protecting our kids. It's for the good of the people. You know, give away your guns. I mean, it's always something like that. For the good of the people, we need to do this. So I have an issue when we are responding to a situation with emotions, right? Because they use the emotion factor. Like, they make you feel bad about it. Like, how come you're not wearing a mask? I mean, do you want to, do something bad to people? And thinking to myself, no, man. I mean, there's reports out there. I mean, the president wasn't even wearing a mask. I saw the Secretary of State, the young girl, saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm following CDC requirement, which it says is recommended." But some people want to make you feel bad about it. Like, why are you not doing this? I don't know you. I'm not close to you. I'm keeping my social distance from you. And again, if you're so worried about it, what are you doing at a Mexican restaurant? It kind of voice what you're trying to do. It kind of voice that. If you're so concerned about spreading a disease, what are you doing at the Mexican restaurant? To me, uh it makes no sense. It really makes no sense that that's happening. So let me check some of the comments out there. If you guys got any comments, put it in the comment section below. Uh, let's see. Miss Gay is in the house. Hope you're doing good, ma'am. Make sure you subscribe her channel as well. Like I say, Pastor Chow is in the house. Subscribe to his channel. Let's see. Big shout out to AOG, $2. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much. Same thing with Wes. Thanks, brother. Another $2. That's awesome. I appreciate it, guys. You guys are fantastic. Let's see. Live it or not, a license says shows the safe behind you. I'm not gonna open the safe now because there's a mess in there, but I will in the future. Um, this is just a spare room that I have in my house, and obviously I have a camera in front of me, and I also got a piece of wood up here that I nailed to the ceiling. And when you see the videos that I put the camera right here, it's hanging from the ceiling. So I was able to do that in this room because I used this room for YouTube. If I would have done that in any part of the house, Stacy would have killed me. But yeah, one day I will open that safe. That's a Canon. It's nothing fancy. I bought it. I think it was Black Friday. I paid like $500, $600 for it. And I did a lot of research when it came to safe, thinking, hey, how much money should I spend? And then I saw a bunch of videos. People had $2,000 safe, and people were breaking into the safe. And I came to the conclusion that, you know what, if the best of the safe is, it's just going to delay people from breaking into the safe. So I came to the conclusion that, you know what, I got cameras. So if somebody comes into my house, I could see them. That's going to give me some time. Obviously, the safe, but it's really nothing crazy. But yeah, I definitely need to open it up and do some kind of video. Uh, Big shout out to Miss Stacy Leanne. She happens to be married to me. She's watching from another room. Let's see. Uh, uh, Take it. All right. If you guys got any questions, put it in the comment section below. I'm gonna be here for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna go and, like Manny said. Manny says, "Watch watch TV." I'm gonna go watch with my wife. Um, I appreciate some of the guys that have been answering comments and things like that. I think they're. Here's the thing. There's a guy in the comment talking about feel tormented by the devil. Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this because I feel that I can say this to a lot of you guys. Here, the community is amazing. The community is great. Don't take it wrong. There is amazing people in the comments. Amazing. You know, the guys that I have met here, I mean, literally, you just saw people giving me money. I mean, this is people that believe in what I do and they want to bless me. Amazing people. You know, I have patrons that been patrons of the channel for years. Pastor Chow, years. I got guys that have been following me around for years. I've been doing this for almost 7 years, guys. I mean, the community is amazing. I love it. But remember this: there's nothing better than actually talking to a person. A lot of times we come into this right here and there's could be a great connection, but there's nothing better than talking to a person that knows you. I get a lot of questions asked sometimes about God and things like that. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it's great to ask somebody, but the talking to a person, talking to a person is so amazing. You know, a person that knows you, a person that has skin in the game, a person that could give you advice. So I'm not saying that it's not great to get advice for some of the people here because we have an amazing community that can support each other and that is amazing and shares comments and all that. Don't get it wrong. But like this guy, carrying cross, I feel tormented by the devil. Man, you need to walk into a church. You need to walk into a church where men of God and women of God can stand next to you, like shoulder to shoulder, or maybe 6 feet now because social distance. You know, so people can be there with you. People, you could feel that. I mean, the Bible says, "When two or more gather in my name, I'll be in the midst." So yes, you know, if you're having difficulties right now, and I have said this to many people, I mean, it's great to be here, it's great to get advice, it's great to be part of the community, but sometimes we need to like get up and walk into a church. Because I tell you that if you feel tormented by the devil, church is a hospital. That is the hospital. That's where you're gonna find people that are going to bless you. That's where you're going to find people that are going to pray over you in the presence right there watching you, you know? And again, I don't want to get into like I don't want to disregard some of the comments because I see Liberty Not a License giving good comments and things like that. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much for doing that stuff. But sometimes with this internet stuff, we kind of lose connection of the real life. You know, I heard people saying, "Oh, I listen to the gospel through the internet." No, man, run into a church, run into a church because when you run into a church and you have brothers and sisters right there with you, it's totally different. Totally different. So, all right, let's see. Who else out there? Uh Gregory says Jarhead6 was the first YouTube channel I subscribed to about 5 years ago. Well, thank you. I knew that. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I was way skinny back in those days. Yeah, way skinny. Um, let's see if anybody have any other questions. Put it down in the comment section below. I'm gonna have a few more minutes here, and then I'm gonna watch Wee with Stacy. Big shout out to Prank Monkey 650. I appreciate the super chat. Big shout out to uh Roll King, 2016 Roll King, $5. Thank you. Guess you're awesome, man. He says, here, get some gas for your Roll King. If you haven't subscribed to my motorcycle channel, subscribe. I'm having a great time. If I ever make it down your way, I think it's Tampa or wherever. I know we are a couple hours apart from each other. We got to ride. We definitely got to ride. But I appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much. AOG says, I've been gone, being subscriber for a while. I remember years ago, I don't know, maybe it was a year. It was over a year ago. I was going through some things in life, and I remember I Googled your channel name, and it was pretty powerful. If you haven't read that Bible verse, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was very, very amazing. Semper Fi to Prank Monkey 650. Semper Fi, brother. Hoorah. Let's see who was out there. Yeah, 2016 Roll King Tampa. E-Boy says, longer, but the community was a big part of policing their own. Yeah, no doubt, man. Sometimes we got to police our own. No doubt about that. So, all right, guys, if there's no questions, I definitely, wait, I got one. I got Beretta 9. Beretta 9's in the house. Man, I love Beretta 9. His channel. Here we go. If you haven't subscribed to Beretta 9 USA, says, hope all is well. I couldn't believe you got hacked a few days back. I did, sir. And channel got all videos on private. Channel banner was, changed. Channel name was changed. Unless you look at the URL, that was the only way you would think it was my channel. And they started live streaming through my channel as well. So it is what it is. But anyways, Beretta 9 Mil, one of the best, probably top 3 best gun channel. This is actually a gun channel in the community. Love the channel. Him and his son do a fantastic job. Let's see. Joshua said, how will you fight back to Joe Biden with this gun law? It's simple, man. He's gonna forget whatever gun law he puts in place. He will forget about it. I'm gonna tell you, this is the last thing I'm gonna say because I wanted to make this point. And here's the thing: the Democrats are essentially, really essentially, making it easy for President Trump. Now, a lot of times I get called a Trump supporter or like a Trump fanboy or something like that. And I don't really consider myself that. When the elections were coming up, Trump was never my first choice. But nevertheless, I'm the kind of guy that as elections come, and you will see this, you're going to have to make a decision. And I believe that you should vote. Some people may disagree. Some people may not want to vote. It is what it is. You make your decision. But just like I was talking to a person that I love, if you don't vote, you have no rights to say nothing. You have to make your vote count, right? And as we go into this election, I started doing kind of like a process of elimination. And to me, it's not just about guns. The other day I got into a little comment back and forward, and I constantly said this: my channel is not about guns. And in fact, I haven't done a gun video in a while. And people ask me why. It's because guns videos cost money, and I haven't made the money that I used to make out of the channel, and that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. I wish I would be able to continue to do that. But when the money gets cut back, you can't get a day off to go to the range, paying range fee, buy 1,000 rounds. At one point, I was buying a gun like it was cool because the channel was generating money. So I'm like, hey, I go and buy a $600 pistol and rounds, and I make videos, and I love doing it. But at this point, it's kind of like, well, you got to kind of take it easy. School's coming up, and I got 3 kids. I got to buy school clothes for my children, right? So you can't really disregard the school clothes and to entertain people in the community. Some people think that that's okay. No, you got to make videos for me. No, dude, it doesn't work that way. I'm an adult. But again, as we come closer to elections, and this is the point that I want to make. I'm not just a gun channel. I have belief that you may agree, you may disagree, but to me are important. Freedom, very important. Our constitutional rights, very, very important. Our gun rights are very important. I'm consider myself in a way more of a conservative. And I believe in marriage. I believe, I don't believe in abortions and things like that. And when you hear people, this guys talking about killing kids, we're gonna let children come out of the mom's belly and put them on the side until they die. We're gonna make them comfortable. I mean, that governor from Virginia said we're gonna make him comfortable until he died. I mean, what are we talking about? This is 2020. What do you mean you're going to make a baby comfortable until the baby dies? To me, it doesn't make sense. When you see this politician supporting kids who are 3, 4 years old and they're supporting the fact that they could change their sex, to me, it doesn't make sense when you allow people to inject medication in their bodies, transform their bodies. I mean, I'm all about freedom. I said at the beginning, I love freedom. If you are an adult and you want to do whatever you want to do, you do it when you're an adult. I'm okay with that, right? When you're an adult and it doesn't hurt anybody else, I'm like, all right, whatever. If you want to do this, you do this. But when you're 3.5 years old and you see these parents injecting medication on babies, it's insane, you know? And it comes to find out that in this case, it is really being supported by the Democrats. And, it's just one of those things. And then people argue about this all the time. I'm like, dude, we live in a free country. You could make your vote. You can make your vote. If you agree that what I think is not right, and I'm going to make my vote count. If you think it's right, you make your vote count. Make it count. But I'm going to tell you right now, when 2020 we're talking about murdering children, that's just sad. We are a nation that is supposed to defend people. We are a nation where we are supposed to take care people that cannot take care of themselves. We have said that many times. We are a nation that keeps peace in the entire planet. When countries out there are attacking other countries, we are a nation that says, don't do that. But now we find ourselves talking about murdering children when they come out of the mom's belly. Insane. We find ourselves talking about 3-year-old kids. Oh, we need to change their sex. Like, what are we talking about? So to me, it's not just about guns. Really, not just about gun. It's way, way more than just guns. So, and I'm gonna make my vote count. Some of you guys make your vote count as well. You may disagree with me. That's why you got to be involved politically. I get a lot of people that attack me here, and I'm like, man, if you don't like what I'm saying, you can make your own YouTube channel and say your own things. I'm gonna, I'm gonna just let you know it's not what you think. You ain't gonna become famous or make a ton of money. You're gonna make some money, but it's not like crazy unless you put makeup on. If you put makeup on, then you're a dude, you may get a lot of money. But if you're a regular dude talking about political stuff, yeah, it's not gonna happen. All right, I think I had enough for today. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I appreciate the support. Everyone out there. Oh man, I have one more topic. And okay, let me just mention this. One more topic that I want to mention. If you conceal carry, I forgot to talk about this. And you out there conceal carrying. I just saw a video just a few days ago where this lady kind of lost it. She got, in my opinion, she got kind of harassed. And at one point, she lost it and she took her gun out. And it was pretty bad. She got arrested for that. Remember this, and I was talking to a person about this. Remember this. When it comes to concealed carry, you got to be really careful. When you put that gun out, it's a last resort. Last resort. Last resort. And there's an equation that I kind of think in my brain, maybe it helps you some of you guys. And it's pretty simple. you meet force with force. So I think that if you remember that, I mean, if you conceal carry, because I saw this video, I don't want to talk about the video that much, but if you remember this, it may be beneficial. You meet force with force. A little bit different than cops, because usually cops are one force above, but as a concealed carry, force with force. Usually you meet deadly force with deadly force. You don't meet somebody screaming at you with deadly force. It just doesn't work that way. And I think this is why this lady got into trouble a little bit. Again, she's gonna have to go. She got arrested. She's gonna have to go to trial or through the process, whatever it is. But I kept that to my mind when I was watching that. I was thinking that if you conceal carry, remember that you meet force with force. And I think if we remember that, it may be beneficial. Like you meet deadly force with deadly force. Just because I said it many times, a guy pushes you, it doesn't mean that you could take your gun out. And we remember what happened here in Florida, where the guy pushed the dude that was screaming at a lady because she parked in the handicap spot, and ultimately he got arrested, right? Because he got pushed, he took a gun out and shot the guy. So again, if you conceal carry, you may want to refresh your skills. You may want to refresh some of the information, because nowadays it's getting pretty bad. And you see a lot of people out there instigating, and you see a lot of riots, and you see a lot of protesters. And you got to be able to know if you could use your firearm or not, because you may find yourself in jail. And these people will use the issue that they're pushing on you. They will instigate, they will harass you until you lose it. And once you lose it, they will record you and get you into trouble. That's what they do. They're instigating. They're called instigators. So kind of prepare yourself. If you conceal carry, prepare yourself, refresh some of the laws that you need to know. But if you forget everything, remember this: you meet force with force. If somebody's trying to commit a serious issue to you, you could use serious force. If somebody's screaming at you, taking your gun out, it's probably going to put you in jail. Don't lose it. Don't lose your cool. Keep it simple. Keep it professional, if you want to call it that way. All right. Big shout out to everybody who's watching out there. Appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate everybody that is out there just uh, supporting the channel and all that. You guys are amazing. I really had a good time. I'm gonna try to live stream once a week. I'm gonna get back into it and live stream. I gotta pick a day, maybe Thursdays, maybe it's Tuesday. It will be like Tuesdays or Thursday. Wednesday, typically we do church. And so it may be one of those 2 days. I would put a video. I would do something. I would put some kind of post reminding everyone. Again, appreciate the support. Thank you so much, everybody that gave me a super chat. You guys are amazing. Everybody that liked the video, amazing. If you want to support the channel, obviously Patreon, Amazon links, all that stuff is down there. Subscribe to my moto channel. You can see me riding my Road King. It's a lot of fun. And stay tuned, because we got a lot of videos coming up. Appreciate the support. And as always, God is in control.